All right, I think everybody's in. All right, let's get to work. What's up? Yeah, I'm still in the good old Michigan, visiting the rents. I'll be here for a little bit. It's nice. Escape the heat of Florida. I mean, you guys know what Florida's all about. Meth heads, beaches, tattoos. That's Florida in a nutshell. Yeah, it's nice to get out of the 100-degree heat. Uh-oh, Shred Lounge in the house. The hizzy. All right, man, let's get to work. Let's first take a look at market indexes. So we've had a little bit of the indexes, at least on the major ones, have held up okay. You know, the Qs were slightly weak, but nothing crazy. But what you were seeing underneath the hood of, you know, the Qs was some selling off in a lot of growth names and a lot of just like kind of higher beta tech names. So even though the Qs were holding up, you know, it was masking, I would say, quite a bit of damage in the market. So if you saw like, okay, you think of tech, you know, you see something like Roblox, right? It's just getting this D shredded like nonstop all day, right? Just getting hit with sellers. And I mean, Docu, right? So what's happening is, you know, some of these higher flyers are getting taken out. So even though the market is holding up, you can't really take the indexes. You know, you got to take the indexes with a grain of salt. Like when momentum gets shot, then momentum gets shot. Like more important than indexes, you want to look at, right, leaders. Like what are leaders doing? What are high beta names doing? You know, what are the stocks that like people actually trade, you know, doing? So if you see like Docu, Snow, right, these are downtrends. So like even though you thought, even though the market was holding up in terms of the indexes, we were really masking a lot of damage. There was a ton of trenders yesterday. Like you see this TTV, right? This is day. It's not just that they were going down, right? They were trending the whole day, which is very rare. I mean, you can get one trend day in a week or 2 weeks sometimes when you're looking at the general market. That's it, you know. So you got to be, you know, this is like a rare thing. So we got to be a little bit careful here in that, you know, even though the indexes are holding up, you know, they may start to follow, you know, because we're seeing that on an individual way. Now, on the other side of things, the IWM, right, that's a small cap index. This thing has just been getting taken to the woodshed. It is coming back down into, look, I mean, I can redraw trend lines and make it look like this is support, but for those of you guys that have drawn and redrawn trend lines to fit your purposes, you know trend lines are meaningless. you can do whatever you want, right? If I wanted this to be support, I can make this support. If I wanted this to be support, I can fucking make that support. So trend lines are meaningless in the scheme of things, but we are getting down into, I guess, some zones of demand. I don't know what the proper terminology is, but we're getting into some zones of demand, but we still got a little bit of ways to go. So I think probably one more little flushy. Maybe we'll be able to play a little bit of goof in the small cap. I'd stay away from small caps at the moment. Like they were getting shot. Like there's no getting around it. So like if you're looking at all like the chat room little penis pumps, you know, then all those things were getting shot yesterday. You know, you got like this SGOC and this jizz was going, right? Like the jizz gapped up and then the jizz went down. And you saw like a lot of these. So they, you know, there was a broad-based selling out of risk in the market, like this Newegg, you know, which was obviously the best computer website of, you know, 2001 and 1999. And we should pay this thing some fucking respect, but like nobody was showing it any respect yesterday. And if you can't show Prodigy Internet respect and give some business to Newegg, then what good are we? We're not even humans right now. These things are getting shut down. So they probably, you want to be staying away from these. Now, something like this, because it's actually been going down so many days, probably at some point they'll put out a little PR or something, or, you know, be like, a Wall Street bits, you know, maybe let's try to push it. but at some point it'll bounce. But these are probably stay away. Like momentum was getting shot. You're saying even the Mox got taken out, right? The fucking Mox was very resilient. Like nobody messes with the Mox. Mox is number one. Like, Mox is QB1. QB1 is Mox, and Mox got taken out yesterday for the first time. All-day trender. So this is like a theme. The other theme is like, okay, really hot charts, right? So if you have, this was like a really beautiful looking chart, right? It was fantastic. It was great, people. This thing was a beautiful chart, and it got taken out yesterday. Not even taken out, but like, right, with some passion, it got taken out. That's no good. So you're seeing this, like this OSTK. I was balls deep on this thing for this fucking breakout. And right yesterday, I mean, you got the biggest down day it's had in forever. So what we're seeing is, right, a broad-based selling in, momentum names, speculative names. And it's not just, right, small caps. It's all over the place, so you're seeing, a whole host of like these kind of names that really, like, the last so many days were really popping up, and now they don't want to pop up. So, stay away from like I would stay away from like these kind of like XLR types. I'm sure they're fine companies and great to tuck into your IRAs, maybe for the time being, just lay off of them, because there is some interesting selling going on in the market, and we'll have to be just mindful of that. So let's talk about just what we can do, both the long side and short side. Even though the market was trending yesterday, it's not going to be necessarily that easy to just, it won't be that easy to just come in hot on this. And what I mean by that is when you have like an all-day trender in the markets, like the next day oftentimes can be a little bit rangy. You may get an inside day or something like that, especially with IWM gapping down like another almost 1%. That makes it a little bit trickier to go. So we'll have to be mindful. Like we'll probably bounce up a little bit at the open. And then the tell is going to be, okay, there'll probably be a little bit of a pop at the open just due to the gap down. And then what happens next, right? Like, do we just start, right? Does the bid get pulled? Do we run into moving averages and then we just start to kind of fizzle back down? Or, do we actually, pop up and make a higher low and, do all those things that technical analysts like to do? We shall see. We don't really know yet. It's inconclusive. But I do think, we got to be prepared to fade. And then we have to be prepared to fade the fade, of course, because we're going to have to go both ways. So I think today we come up with a list of longs and a list of shorts. Yesterday, we were woefully unprepared on the short side. We took a couple ganders on them, but it wasn't as epic as it needed to be. It wasn't epic at all. It wasn't as epic as it needed to be. We had fucking trenders down here. So we want to add some of these kind of more liquid names for both longs and shorts. So let's talk about just potential longs. We got space balls here now from 58 to 30. So it's like, it's been cut in half, give or take. I think, one push down into this 200 SMA zone, anywhere 3150 to 3050-ish. Like we want to be coming hot on this thing. This AMC is about squeezing, by the way, a little bit. I think the second one we want to go, right, is a little bit of AMC life. Now, this one doesn't have as much support on it. It may need to come down into some better levels, so like if you're looking at this a weekly chart, this is where we need to look at this for some guidance from the Lord himself. And I think, it got dusted under this old breakout spot, right? Now that's common though. That's called what we primarily call a shake and bake, meaning like you break under the big level and then, maybe you squeeze back over. Now this is just a flip. I doubt this holds for more than a few days, but like if you see here, the 9 EMA sitting at $42. So you do have some upside. in general, if you're looking at any type of daily chart, for those guys that are just brand new, if you can stick 2 thumbs between where the 9 EMA is and where the stock is, you're getting a little bit extended, a little bit long in the tooth, and you're due for a bounce. Now, the trend on this has reversed. Your short-term trend is down. Your intermediate term trend is down. Only your long-term trend is holding up, but the 200-day moving average takes forever to catch up. So in general, the trend has reversed, but I think we probably get a little bit of a bounce back into kind of this range. Then we'll see what's up, all right? So AMC, Spaceballs for potential bounces. Now, a couple other stocks that we may be able to bounce. You know, we got this OSTK back down to support. That could hold. And, you know, this upwork may be a little bit of a dead cat bounce here too. Thing had a monster pullback, you know, first test of the 50 since the run. Maybe that holds. Maybe. I'd definitely keep them on your list, though. I think TTD's got a nice support level over here, too. You know, you got yourself a nice little location here with the 200-day moving average under it. So we want to be able to find stocks that have some level of support out. We want to be mindful of the incredible amount of selling that's been going on and think like, okay, if that's happening, then we've got to be able to stay in really liquid names. So like TTD is super liquid. I would even put NIO on your watch list for a potential bounce, right? Like this thing is $55. It's down to 42, but it's very liquid. You know, like you're not going to have to fart around with spreads and stuff like that. I think that's important. You know, when the market is like really nasty, when you're fighting back and forth and like stocks that got like big spreads, it makes your trading a lot more difficult. So if you can find some bad boys, you know, with very minimal spread that are on bounce spots, even though this may not have as much range as some other names, you could have more size in it just due to the fact that it's going to be really, really liquid. So I would go with that too. Now let's talk about the short side. You know, we're going to keep this very simple today. All right. We've got Roblox here. If it busts under 78.50, we add this to the short side. All right. Roblox under 78.50 only. We add it to the short side. ENPH. This is another one that's sitting on this like 171 zone. Big down day yesterday. All the solars cooked. Right? All the solars were cooked. You saw SPWR. Like all of these bad boys. I mean, these are like big reversals yesterday. It looks like ENPH has the most room to fall, you know, before you get down into support. Like Run is, I think, the easiest trader out of the group. But like you've got really only $1 more of downside. Makes it a little bit more, I don't know, makes it a little bit more tricky. So I'd go like ENPH. We do a little Roblox. I would add in, this is going to be a little bit more speculative because it's actually not going to have the liquidity. But like, I feel like this thing this looks a little bit like Docu. All right. If you see Docu, right, a couple days ago, like it was trending up. You got this little, you know, weird candle on it. But like, it's just started to like, you know, kind of that rollover. Yes, the sound effects do come with Bulls on Wall Street mentorship. This is getting there. Like if it loses this 9, I mean, we're coming in hot on this thing. You can't, the volume on it's about 2 to 3 million. So it's liquid enough, but it's not crazy enough to be like, okay, I'm going to roll in like 5,000 shares or something. I tried that yesterday with this fucking Affirm. And the spread scared me out of it. Yeah, this Affirm had some news out. You know, the Apple's getting in their cookies or something. It had a nice little doohickey. Yeah, I think Asana's on that cliff too. Good. What do you guys know? Let's take a look at the gappers. I think we keep the list short. Like, yeah, stay away from all this stuff like jizz and you could play them, but it's just going to be the stress of like that. I think you'd probably need the IWM to have like a big reversal today. And it could because it is gapping down and you're kind of getting a little bit, you're not oversold yet, but you're getting there. You may get it. Now let's take a look at these gappers. See, this is the kind of stuff, you know what they're doing is these pumpers, they're coming in hot in their little Discord groups, So what happens is like some stock has a PR out, they base out, and then some jerk is just like, hey guys, let's take this thing. But they're getting sold off. They're like getting sold off. So you got to be very careful on that. Arlo. Man, I haven't heard from this company forever. Dun, dun. Why does TC do that where they show the red candle even though it's up? Arlo is actually an actual company, but we may have to come back on this one. Let's come back on that one. Not feeling that keen about it. Blend. Not feeling that keen on the small caps. Casper, Drunk. Alf Nation. Alf Nation too. I think we leave all these around. See, like this is what's happening. These things are getting squeezed and then they're rolling over. That's part of just the market conditions that's happening. Man, you got to really you got to be real careful here. Like, see this OCGN, like this thing's a huge turd. So, okay, they put out a PR, it pops up a little bit. That thing ain't holding. All right, you can see there's like, this is showing you just kind of like how nasty the market is. Normally, we're getting towards earnings season already. We're there pretty much. Tomorrow, Alcoa starts, right? You only have, how many gappers are there today? And all like these little 30 ones, like not even any regular companies. Normally you'd have some 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $80 stocks also showing. We got none. That's telling you kind of the crux of the market. Let's look at the downside. MRN, that's a short. USAG, pump and dump. All these, like, you got to stay away from these. Let's see this thing here. This thing is on the 9 EMA. It probably spike up, but man, they're going to pull it. Like, they're going to pull that thing. They're going to pull that thing so hot. Yeah, I think, this thing will get jammed, and then what? So you got to stay away. What I'll do is, see this like GME, this thing is fading off. So you just can't trust anything right now. That's on the more speculative side. Clove had some news out that they got another person, I believe, leaving their company. I think the last one was a CFO. No, this is like some other jerk. This is still a short. This company is a turd. If it's a Chamat SPAC, these are my Indian people, so you never speak bad about a brown man. As you guys know, you don't do brown on brown crime. For those Chamat SPACs, I'm not going to say they're not looking good because you don't want to do brown on brown crime. That's just wrong, right? That's how civilization and society never get ahead. But those Chamat SPACs, he fed us some not so good things. Fucking Clove is a turd. Not that I would ever speak bad about another Indian person, but those, you want to stay away from these Chamat specs. Let's just give Chamat a new name. Like, let's call him Larry. These fucking Larry specs, they're no good. Right? These Larry specs. Larry's a fucking crook, man. No getting around it. These Larry SPACs, no getting around. The problem with SPACs is not the companies. it's the deals they made really inside, right? These things are just bloated. Meaning like, okay, whoever did the SPAC got probably half the shares and they got them for like a penny. And right, I mean, they're just unload. These are all free shares. When they give SPACs, basically they're giving all the people that do the SPACs freebies, and they're sitting there selling. AMCC. Oh man. This thing's fucking cooking. Okay. Let's see this thing. AMC's already squeezing here. Yeah, we're gonna have to watch this thing for a little red to green action. Hopefully it just waits for us. Spaceballs too. Okay. Spaceballs pushing. Yeah, look at that fucking thing. This thing better wait for us. Yeah, it's hot. Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah, AMC on the squeeze. All right. Man, that's good. So AMC, Spaceballs, very bouncy. We could try OSTK Upwork, but I think it's better if they settle down. We stick with the big boys. All right, on the short side, favorites, right? We got the Roblox. We got a nice little Roblox. I think we go with the little ENPH. Hey, out of the kind of more speculative names, one to keep an eye on that actually held up yesterday was this BD. Yeah, but I'm not feeling that keen on it. So that's the list of sticking to it. Stick with the big boys. Stick with liquidity. If we need a bounce, we can try TTD also. We want liquid. Space will be liquid. AMC will be liquid. TTD will be liquid. We want to stick with the liquidity if we can. On the short side, Roblox, ENPH. We can take down some of these solars if they squeeze a little bit. Let's go do what we do, which is the do. Hey, Palantir is a tough trader. Whatever. Palantir is just a tough trader. It is oversold, but it's a tough trader. I mean, this to me looks like, you know what this trade's like? A Larry SPAC. It turns like a Larry SPAC. It's just a thick. Netflix, out of the large cap companies, I would say Netflix has probably got the best chart. You got a huge base here. This pattern, so this goes back like 2 years. It reminds me of kind of like, Amazon did the same thing here, right? Like you keep testing out the level and then you kind of cook over it. Not so bad. TCAT, man, it's due for a bounce too, 100%. It looks like, they've really cleared out. They should have probably cleared out all the sellers by now. I took CLDX off the watches. That thing was too thin. It'd probably go without us, but whatever. All right, let's go have some fun. Powell talks in 4 minutes. Guys, there's no inflation. Look at the guy. Let's go have some fun. Let's do what we do. We'll be in the chat room. Let's not stay to the close today if we can. Rock and roll.